Hey guys, Ray from Lovey RV and Boat. So I have another video on this side shift bow thruster. Done quite a few over the last year or so. We did a total overhaul of the bow thruster, pulled it off the boat, had it sanded down and all repainted. Also this year changed all the wiring to the bow thruster, all new cables, installed a specialized system with a lithium battery to power it. So if you missed those videos, I'll link to them. Anyway, we were just pulling out of a marina here in Port McNeill, and Anne went to use the bow thruster. There's a toggle switch on the fly bridge, and no dice, it wouldn't move at all. So I started troubleshooting, couldn't find anything right away, so we decided to just not leave that day and spend another day, so it gave me time to kind of troubleshoot it and repair it. And what I found was, I think it was a wireless problem. This is the motor controller module here. You can see there's quite a bit of electronics going in there. But what happens is on the bridge there's a toggle, and when you turn it on, it turns on a wireless signal generator. So when you toggle it one way, it talks to this device wirelessly, and then this device has some wires that come out of it, and it goes to a big relay that switches, because the bow thruster draws 300-400 amps, so it has a relay with a solenoid to switch it with lower current, and that's what this device does. So I knew that this was probably the problem, or maybe the other part of it, but I don't think it was the other part of it, because there's also a fob that goes with this system, and it was working, and it stopped working too, so it sends a signal to this as well. So I figured that was the issue, and I've had a lot of problems with this. It always seems to be a problem with this wireless setup. I guess they use it to ease the installation in boats, but I decided to not use this anymore and run a hardwire. So I went and got myself, I think it was about a 12 gauge duplex cable, and attached it to a switch up on the fly bridge, two-way switch, momentary. And then I also soldered the wires straight onto the big relay, which I'll show you in a moment. We'll just go down there and I'll show you how I hooked it up to the relay. It's pretty simple. There's 3 pins on the relay. One provides power, and then the other pin comes out of here, and it basically just grounds one of the other 2 pins, and depending on which one you ground, the polarity on the bow thruster goes one way or the other, so the thruster turns to the port or to the stern. Anyway, I was successful in fixing it, so I'll show you how I did that. And I'm much happier with having it hardwired like that. This is kind of nice because you can roam around and use it, but Anne never does. She does everything from the bridge as far as docking goes anyway, so it'll be much more reliable. We've even had occasion where VHF signals have turned the bow thruster on and kind of behaved erratically, so it'd be nice to have a hardwired system. So here we are down in the bow. If you watched my last video, you know I installed a couple watt cycle 280 amp hour lithium batteries in there, and they've worked great with the bow thruster. They can put out a combined 400 amps. I did a video where I tested the bow thruster, and draw right between 330 and kind of 375 amps continuous, so they were able to handle that, and they can handle much more as far as a surge goes. I think they can handle 600 amps each for a quick surge. Anyway, here's what I've done. So the controller was plugged into these tabs here, and I got rid of them, and I've used solder and just soldered the wire straight on. So they have a 12 volt power wire that was existing there, and then I've added this wire here and put it on each tab. So what this does, basically what the little wireless controller did, was just ground each of these, and when you ground one of those, the relay clicks and the thruster goes one way. When you ground the other, relay clicks and the thruster goes the other way. The polarity is reversed on the wiring. There's my main power coming in from the batteries. I also have a switch because I did leave the existing AGM batteries hooked up just in case I had a problem with the lithium. And then I've also changed another thing. Before I had a 30 amp DC to DC charger, but I've since realized that there's not much drain on these batteries using just the bow thruster, and I also use the windlass off of these, and I can go out for a couple weeks and I've hardly drawn, you know, a couple percentage. So I decided just to utilize a very small solar controller in here, and I can just hook it up when I need. You can see right now it's pouring rain out, so I'm only getting about 18 watts, but I have a 200 watt panel I can just lay out and be able to recharge those. Or I have my 30 amp shore power charger. Anyway, that's the newest incarnation of my bow thruster experiment here. And I think it's going to work a lot better without that wireless controller in the mix. So the wire's been fed from the bow through this electrical cabinet, following the path of quite a few other wires. Ends up right here, and it's going and it's following some of the solar wiring that goes up through here and ends up in the cabinet, up in the fly bridge underneath the instrument panel. So we'll go up there and I'll show you the setup with the switches there. So the wire comes up behind here and then up into the console area. What I did is I reused the actual side shift mounting plate here. So they had a toggle on top. I've removed all that and installed my own two-way momentary switch each way. Also in here I installed this toggle switch. So this is sort of the kill switch for the bow thruster. So after Anne's finished with it, after the trip, she can turn that off, and then if someone hits that by accident, who knows what might happen, that won't be able to be activated. So the wiring for this, it's a three prong switch. So we got one wire on each side, and then the center wire is what grounds it. So when I took the existing ground that went to here, ran it through the kill switch. So when the switch is off, that ground wire isn't active. I switch this on. Now the center ground wire can be active. So when I go one way, I'll turn the bow thruster one way and the bow thruster the other. So let's give you a quick demo here. There we go, one way and the other. Let's see it going here. So that's going to be working much better and much less prone to having issues that the wireless one had. Well, there you go. All fixed and happy again. Actually gave me something to do during our down day here. We're on the dock at the marina and we had quite the wind and rainstorm go through. So it's actually, I think the boat was telling us not to leave the dock. Not going to let your bow thruster work. Anyway, I'll just give you a quick video I did as well, showing the bow thruster in action and the lithium battery. I kind of did a test of the current draw. Somewhere around between 350 to 400, and those batteries are capable of supplying that no problem. Until next time, Ray from Love Your RV and Boat. Cheers, guys.